on the Dockers.
I guess you rob the small midfield department then, I guess, if you stack it too much. But Cruz Garland is straight into the middle with that opening centre bounce squad, and here's an opportunity for Swallow, who was tackled magnificently by Mundy. Mundy, no one on the mark, and Swallow just walks off the other way, allows Mundy to get another 10 or 15 metres. High ball inside forward 50. McPhee brought it down, went across the front Duffield. McPhee handball, Goldstein tries to paddle it out in the Thompson direction. In the end, off the feet of Harvey. Wells just said, I'm going to go and get this, and he did. Garlett going back when he probably could have gone boundary.
It's a good kick.
It is, Frito. It's risk football, and it needs to be. Here is Swallow, appears to be okay now. Kicks a high ball forward without any direction whatsoever.
It was his first mistake for the day there, Broughton.
Yep.
He's had a really good day.
Handball comes off, picked up by Wright. Chisels one home. You wanted two, Gerard. There's one.
Well, it's great work off the half-back line. That's what set it up, and it was Wells who got that first possession, then a really smart kick into the middle that gave them the opportunity.
And you're right, Broughton there with his first mistake of the day, and in the end it was a critical one because it's cost him a goal, and that's where he's taken his game to another level. Broughton is the fact he's been able to impact the contest like that, but let himself down on that occasion and let his team down.
Just have a look at in a minute as you see the replay there, and Wright did really well threading it through the middle. Wright with his first goal of the day, having gone forward. And now they've got it all to do again. They are still 26 points adrift, and they need another one urgently. Sandlin's beautiful tap to Mundy. Couldn't quite control it at the ground level. Duffield comes in for support, but he's wrapped in the tackle. So they look committed to the task at the moment, the Roos.
They do, but they've got to just tighten up with these stoppages. Cameron Richardson there, that ball went straight to Mundy, and he's got the job of tagging him, and he didn't swallow him straight away.
Sandlands this time makes them room. Did well to advance the ball. Main in front, knocked away from him by Ferrito. Main again, Sandlands. Miscue, Harvey the slip. Great handball in the end. Cruz Garlett the give and go. Wells involved. Goldstein couldn't get the ball over the top to Garlett. They'll get a let off here. Grimer.
There's that leap of faith once again, even with the interception.
Out the back door, Richardson.
Looking up the middle.
Oh, it's just a horrible, horrible ball that has been turned over, and now Hill, the master runner. He was in some traffic though. De Boer tackled by McMahon. Ballantyne put his head over it and was able to take it away momentarily, and eventually a boundary throw in.
After that goal that the Kangaroos got, Fremantle Dockers put Stephen Hill straight away behind the ball, and from that the Kangaroos last defensive 50 rebound, they struggled to look up and find a target.
Jacko, what about Petrie into the ruck and Goldstein down in the goal square?
Well, they're going to have to do something, man-to-man first up, but they've got to get Drew Petrie into the game.
Bradley over the back, Crowley, open goal and offer, he's got it. Easy one for the Dockers.
Well, I'm not sure where Daniel Wells got caught out on that point. We'll see here, certainly on the replay. He tries to go to the front square of the contest. Ball goes to the back, and his man kicks a goal. He needs to stay with him there on that. He's playing as a defender in that situation. Yeah. He needs to stay with his direct opponent. But that's the nature of when you're getting tagged. You try and get in front.
So Ryan Crowley and the tagging job on Daniel Wells has been able to sneak behind his back and nail one.
Let's take another look at these centre clearances, Jono.
Opportunity for the Dockers coming out of the middle again to Kepler. Bradley kept the space in front of him, did really well. In the end, McMahon to Thompson, who's under pit pressure. Mundy, Palmer, trying to keep it alive here. Garlett, Ferrito, and now Zeeble, and now some space for Garlett. He's the sub that's just been activated. Petrie. Difficult degree of handball there, picked up by Grover. Grover puts it over the top, and it's just off to the right.
Well, they saw the goal then, the defender. He wanted to kick one. I'm sure he would have seen a good celebration to match, but unfortunately missed it to the right-hand side.
He did have Stephen Hill to the left of him there, Jono.
I think he got excited, Jacko.
As defenders would, forward to the centre.
There's the McMahon kick. He's told to play on, so Mayne got very close to it. He goes to a 1-on-3 out there. It was never going to be any other than a Fremantle ball. McFarlane, Mundy, Bradley. On the right boot, got it airborne, gives him a chance. Duffield on the chest, couldn't quite hang on. Rawlings to Grimer, to Garlett. And under enormous pressure here at the moment, the Roos having trouble getting out of their defence.
Here's the Duffield mark, or what should have been a mark. Good defence that time by Wells.
Sandilands at the back. Pavlich nursed under the ball. It was touched. You heard the umpire call play on. Spaces out this side of the ground if they want to come the Roos. McMahon's got to be clean. He is. And that's not great.
Well, it's good forward pressure at the moment from Fremantle. They've been able to keep it inside 50 the last 3 times.
Pavlich just pops it to the top of the square. McPhee over the top. Couldn't get it. Picked up by Pitt. Shot at goal. Missed.
Lockie Hansen has allowed his man Pitt to just waltz in and take the footy. Now, it's not his direct opponent, and that's the difference between the two sides. He had to push up and get onto Pitt, who was 25 metres in front of him.
Ferrito from fullback plays on. Off hands, Hill again. It's just going to come back, and that's a ripping kick from Hill to Palmer. Palmer just decides whether he'll play on, and he misses to the left. He's caught in 2 minds. I think he's thinking, can I go the journey? Of course he could from there.
Let's just take a look at this replay. You see Hansen up the back on the top right-hand side, and the man there, he's not pushing up.
Yep.
He's just got to come up and cover. His man McFarlane's 35 metres behind him, but it's team defence.
Can't clear their defence at the moment. There's Hansen, both hands on the ball, and now Wells, Harvey.
Fast break stuff. They've got to get it over the back. Space behind.
Petrie, Thomas. He's a good user, Thomas. He works the angle now. Edwards has got to mark this. He's got good body position, and he does. Brilliant kick from Thomas to get it over the top.
Well, that's their modus operandi, really, isn't it? That's the one way we know they're going to kick goals. Fast break footy. They're really good at it. And yet it's been held up so many times because of their ineffective disposal coming out of the back half.
There's the task for Edwards. He nails the goal, so the Roos are not done with yet. Back to 29 points, plenty of time.
And they got it back into the corridor, Jared, and that was the advantage. They've been turning it over because they've been trying to get out to the wings, and Fremantle been able to repel and get the ball straight back inside forward 50. This one they get through the middle of the ground, get the overlap from the zone, and then Edwards is able to finally take a contested grab up forward.
Good mark, wasn't it? Good stretch.
Beautifully placed kick from Thomas. And as you say, great hands from Edwards. So a 29-point margin now in favour of the Fremantle Dockers. What have we got in the middle for the Roos?
Well, they're man on man, but let's see if they're man on man when the ball comes.
We're off hands, yeah. So man on man to the moment, and they were that time. Swallow gets the advantage. Goldstein's gone down in the middle. The kick to Edwards on the lead, got both hands on it, taken away from him in the end by Wright. Probably would have marked it otherwise. Really pressing hard at the moment, Roos. Fife, rub it and ran into a brick wall. It was Swallow.
It's good footy.
It is. They're trying desperately to lock it at their end at the moment, the Roos.
Just can't take the marks inside forward 50, Jono. It's the big missing link at the present time.
It certainly is, and you said the centre bounce. Goldstein's got his hand on the last 2. And they've started to get some advantage back in that area of the ground.
Grab the ball with aggression on the lead. Just haven't been able to do it. Pitt with a kick to Bradley. Good pick up for the big man, but look at the Roos numbers. You get a sense about the Roos just at the moment. Anthony It's almost their last opportunity. Ballantyne was worryingly close.
How many times
There
they've done that?
goes the little man. Has a look around. He ran his full journey to an open goal square to bust this one open. Hits the post.
Too many fumbles, Jono.
Too many fumbles, but easy fumbles too, where they're clear and can get some good overlap footy happening.
Petrie. Got to go. Hansen must mark, and he didn't. Got to get the ball at the ground, and he didn't. Pavlich. Now Hansen.
Much better defence from Richardson, though, making Pavlich much more accountable. Gone.
Richardson, the run down by Ballantyne was exceptional. Got to understand the intensity.
You just got to change pace there. You got to get it and just change pace. At least you might be able to get a disposal away.
Ballantyne to McPhee, and McPhee's taken the mark as Grimer went to ground. Now McPhee has been asked by the umpire to come back over the angle. It's a really difficult angle, as you can see. This, a crucial kick for the Roos. Will still think there's a big chance if he misses this. They're down by 30. Lots and lots of time. 13 minutes left in this game. McPhee to make it more difficult for the Roos. Has missed by a long way. And marked by Thompson in the end.
They've gone to Adam McPhee a lot today. Been the #1 target for them.
Have, and there you go, the kicking skills again. And that'll be 50 from Zeeble. He come from behind before the umpire called play on.
Spot on, BT.
Ibbotson will kick from 15 metres. Have a look at this. Takes the mark. You can see Zeeble waiting. Pulls the kick and bang, 50. Ibbotson, the sub for Fremantle, has come on at the expense. And the kick for goal is very, very good at the expense for Subin, who's got a broken ankle, we believe.
Right across the whole season so far with the sub, and I think there hasn't been a game, Jared, where the sub hasn't come on and kicked the goal. And I think it's just the nature of the fresh legs, and that was a bit lucky, obviously, getting a 50-metre penalty where he did. But they seem to have some sort of impact.
It certainly looked that way most of the 4 rounds that we've seen so far.
Ibbotson with the goal. Fremantle have kicked 6 of the last 8. Just haven't had the class to finish the Roos when they have had some wide open opportunities. Beautiful bounce by the umpire late in the game. Pavlich, who's been absolutely dynamite here today. So is Fife. Swallow to Garlett. Garlett goes with a low ball to Edwards. Adams tries the front and centre, but he ran in to a wall. And we'll have a ball up now. Any attempt to get rid of him? He is going to ping him for making no effort.
Geez, that's good work just to get up and go from Robert.
Sure is. And that McFarlane's had a super game today.
Sandlands. Let's have a look at the kicking skill. Back inside, Thompson. He's going to need support, though.
He hasn't tried to get rid of it. He'll get pinged.
Well, I'm not sure how he's supposed to make an attempt when they're sitting on him like that. Ball advanced forward to McPhee. Juggler. Crowley. Ferrito.
Well, the Kangaroos go back. They take on the Tigers. Next
Port
week.
Adelaide after that. Then go to Skilled and play the Cats.
Yep. One game of time, I think, Jono, for the Roos at the moment. Nice of you to give us those fixtures, though, as Fife goes long and deep.
My pleasure, BT. But it is focused on the next 2 for sure. They'd want to have 2 wins under their belt.
Has the effort been there today for the Roos? You know, as Brent Harvey's outspoken in the last game, has it been there today?
I think the effort's been there for the whole game. It's just been a couple of little fumbles. The fact that they haven't been able to grab some critical ball inside 50.
That's
a great goal.
Brilliant goal from Nate Fight. Once again, goals from clearances. We'll get the figures, but it has been one-way traffic, goals from clearances. Swallow gets it, pokes it out to a dangerous spot. And Fife.
His season's going from strength to strength. Another 27 disposals today, up on his average of 26.
How comes no one is standing defensive side on him? Glenn Jakovic.
Oh, BT, he's just continuing his great form, Nat Five. 27 possessions, 17 of them contested. The leading contested possession went on the ground, plus his 2 goals, boys.
He played 22 games, this guy. He is showing some great form.
And I think the Dockers themselves are just look like they've just taken another step, and just a small step, but given their interrupted preparation for so many of their players, they'd be delighted with where they're at.
Bad news
for the first month
for Nick Subin, a broken leg here today. Grover with the thump away. And that's the only bad news. Harvey to keep it alive. Good centering kick. Gives Edwards a chance. Couldn't quite grab it. Johnson with a handball to Grover. And
well played, Thomas.
Farland's kick was smothered brilliantly by Thomas. Gives Wright a chance in the pocket. Trying to open him up on the left. And bit off a little bit too much there, Wright.
Pressure from the Dockers just enormous.
Strong hands from Main. The long striding Hill with a massive kick to the advantage of McPhee. Rawlings made it difficult for him to mark it.
That's a great kick. So late in the game to still get that penetration, 60 metres.
Ballantyne was setting himself up for the give and go. He eventually gets it. Distributes to Palmer. Got a hand on it. Can go to Mundy around the corner, and he does. And Pavlich was there, but Mundy would have been risking it all to try and get it there. And so Mundy will go back and see what he can conjure up here. One of the leading possession getters today. Effective kicking percentage of 70%. He's had it 25 times today, David Mundy. 15 contested possessions for Mundy today to make it a 48-point lead for the Fremantle Dockers. Mundy is as straight as they come. Umpire didn't move.
Well, that was sweet off the boot. And such a versatile player now, Mundy can dominate midfield, as we've seen for the best part of 18 months, 2 seasons, but can also go forward and be a genuine target.
And you speak of his percentage there, BT, 73%. You look across both teams, though, as a whole, Dockers only got 6 players under 60% effectiveness.
Nine goal to 2 second half from the Fremantle Dockers. Exhilarating stuff here. Brad Scott. Signs of concern. North Melbourne winless still after 4 rounds of footy. Only played the 3 games in that. Have a great opportunity next week against the Tigers. Garlett. Swallow can go all the way from there if he winds up. Didn't quite nail it. 55. He's still got the journey. Nice kick from Swallow.
Well, not a lot of excitement from the kick, and I guess when the game's gone, there's not too much to be excited about. But in the finish, he got the job done. It was a bit of junk time footy, but he still had to travel the distance, and from 55 out, that's not a bad result. But they have to, I think, Jono, address this issue of goals from stoppages. I think they have to address the issue up forward where they're just not functioning at all because they can't take a mark.
So you mentioned across the game that it's more Freo clearances have been similar in some way, but it's the way Fremantle have been able to walk the ball out at times and get some good delivery going forward.
It's game time as Aaron Sandlin's played. Brad, when you get an opportunity to have a look at it, because he's just looked magnificent all day. Hill to Fife. Bit of a no-look handball to McPhee. Cunnington and now Garlett. Hansen, one of his rare marks today. High ball right, sets himself over the back. Did he get it, Harvey? Touched.
Sandilands up at 75% for this game, which is up there a little bit, but generally after last week with the eye contact that he did get and probably limited preparation, he's worked quite hard out there today.
Got 9 goals, 7 directly from stoppages.
Gee. Of the 18, so 50% of their goals coming from the art of stoppages. Pretty important, aren't they?
That's better. That's a better mark. Better pressure as well.
And Jared, you mentioned before that the Kangaroos have struggled to take a mark up forward. That last ball that went in before this kick here, but we've got to put the good efforts to Anthony Grover and McFarlane. They just haven't allowed their forwards to take any overhead marks down there.
Well, his 53rd game, Hansen. He's at the stage now where he really needs to show something, isn't he? Gets very close to the man on the mark, Hansen. Kick on the way, got plenty of power, and he's kicked the goal. Gets it for North.
And I think it's a fair point Jacko makes as the president of the Defenders Union that I guess the credit we were giving them earlier in the piece for beating them in one-on-one, which sort of now swung over to asking the question why the Kangaroos forwards aren't taking marks. Well, I'm not sure it's all to do with disposal, BT. They haven't been given silver service, but in one-on-ones they've been badly beaten.
So Lockie Hansen kicks his first goal deep into the last quarter here. And Fremantle will be very excited about the form that they've shown here today. Their second game at home, of course. The other game at home was against Geelong, which they went down by 11 points. And as it turns out, that's not a bad result because Geelong have shown some super form. Havlich to Palmer.
So I like that from Zeeble. He's on Mundy. He buried him. He didn't get up as quickly as Mundy to get up and go, but at the centre clearance, he was absolutely determined it wasn't going to be his man that got a cheapie out.
Bradley trying to keep it alive there, was very prominent up forward early. Kepler Bradley kicked successive goals at the end of the first quarter. Things going pretty well in the West for footy. Of course, the West Coast with 2 wins so far this year as well out of their 4 games. And so there's a bit of a buzz back in the air over here in Western Australia.
Gary Kibbett's first game back for the year, boys. Not a lot of touches, but has kicked the goal and worked his way into the game pretty well, so he'll be better for the run.
And an important player for them, Jacko.
Most definitely now with Subban going down, he's going to step right into that role.
What other players have they got that are ready to go? Jacko, do you know of any that are still playing in the waffle that are ready-made? We're going to lose Subban out of this one.
Yeah, I read the report today, but not too many are really setting the world on fire. But Zach Clark still keeps presenting. I mean, obviously he's a tour option if either Sandilands or Kepler Bradley go down.
What about Silvani? How far away is he?
Should be in the next week or so.
Yep. Crichton, of course, is perhaps another, and maybe even Nick Lowe. I know he's only played 24 games, but he's been thereabouts and off hands here. Even Michael Walters, who was an emergency here today as well. So they've got a little bit of depth. And they're still, you would think, mid-year before they get their strongest team together, Fremantle, which is not a bad thing if they can conjure up.
And Michael Barlow's still a couple of weeks away from joining the main group, but doing a lot of running as we speak.
Right. Mundy. Sandilands. Havlich. Very unselfishly to Valentine. Just great team play.
And he's done that all day, has Matthew Pavlich. He's brought his teammates into the game around the stoppages, and his use by foot, kicking inside 50 today, has been outstanding.
Who are the Bulldogs play on Pavlich next week?
Bulldogs will play. If he goes forward, Dale Morris will certainly get the job on Pavlich.
And through the middle?
Through the middle, I think either a Daniel Cross or a Matty Boyd will have to take him on.
So they go hard tag?
Oh, they'd still like to get off and
they do that.
Give something back the other way.
For goal number 5, misses. And of course that game will be played here, so...
Or they could send Picken to him. But with Hill and Fife and these others up and running, it makes it tough.
They have got a few up and running, as you say. Brad Johnson. There's Adams on the wing. Back inside to Swallow, and out of the loop here is Richardson. Takes a bounce. Look at the chase from Fife late in the game here. Got it into Petrie. Doubles back. Thought about the kick, and while he thought the tackle was there, Hansen may have got that tackle high. Look at Anthony Grover. Not dissimilar to Pfeiffer's chase just prior to that. What do you make of the Dockers this year, Gerard?
Well, I think they're a side, BT, that can certainly finish in the top 4 and improve on last year. I mean, you would expect that just with natural improvement from a lot of these players, but they look hungry, and that's what I think is going to be the key ingredient as to how far they can go.
Yeah, finished 6th last year, won their first final, didn't they?
Yep. Well, they had the big issue with Sandilands at the MCG in that final they lost. They're probably never going to win that one, but another season, another level of development and expectation.
Florito as well has collected Ballantyne pretty aggressively. Farland marks.
I mean, natural improvement. Chris Mayne at the other end of the ground, he's noted as a goal kicker. What I think most people don't recognise him for is he is the best defensive forward in the game right now statistically. And he's building his career as a lot of their...
Gee, that surprises me.
Yeah, a lot of their players, I think, are building careers on, defensive work.
Adams just had too much on it for Edwards. Around the corner, Edwards to Garlett, just put up the one hand, and the Dockers maintain possession here, and the kick out wide for McPhee.
Boys, just have a look at this. Nearly the 30-minute mark, and Hayden Ballantyne is just hitting tackles like it's the first 2 minutes of the game, and that's just the beauty about this side, and in particular him. He just sets the barometer for him.
They all are. They're still chasing really hard as well. Here, Fremantle. Hill. Jaden Pitt, who's played really well today. Nice body by Ferrito there, and Mayne just going with the hands rather than the body to try and trap that ball then. Good kick by Ferrito out wide, and McMahon. He's got a runner on the inside if he wants to use him. And that is a tired handball to Richardson. Richardson through some traffic, and in the end just kicked it without any thought at all. What fatigue can do.
Would you like to see Drew Petrie in the ruck, Jono? Because I think he's got limitations just playing that one position forward. I know he's coming back from injury after a big interruption last season.
You just got to give him. You've got to give him some time to start to adapt to the game, and maybe in the ruck that'll bring back some of that run. You speak of him. You look at Daniel Kerr from West Coast. There's question marks over guys that are out of the game for an extended period, and how they can actually come back and have an impact. Look, it does take time, and Drew Petrie has got that up his sleeve, but certainly I agree that maybe that's a way to get some of that momentum back into his game.
Thomas plays on around on the left boot and hits the post. Not able to convert any of his opportunities today in front of goal. Fife's had 32 touches. Pavlich has had 34 touches here. 3 behinds today for Matthew Pavlich. And Lindsay Thomas 5 behinds today. Anthony Robertson at ground level and in the air. Good run here by Atley. Got it back inside to Swallow. Time to front the goals. Just off the outside of the boot. Did he get enough, though? No.
Who would you fancy next week, BT, about the Kangaroos and the Tigers?
Gee, at this stage, I reckon the Tigers have done reasonably well. Pushed Carlton in that first round. The draw with St Kilda, Gerard. I know Hawthorn and Collingwood at 63 and 71 points respectively in the loss department. But those two, Hawthorn and Collingwood, are going to be in the top 4. You know, just sort of fancy the Tigers at the moment, I'd reckon. Anthony, high ball forward. Swallow, clever soccer. And he picks up another.
Well, he's pushed hard in the last quarter.
He hasn't stopped trying, that's for sure.
Swallow, and he's got himself plenty of possessions today. It's been a tough journey for all the Kangaroos. But they are right now a long way off the top half-dozen clubs in the competition. A long way off it. I think that might come as a bit of a rude awakening to a few. Even internally, I think they may have thought they were a lot closer than they have proven to be in this first month of footy.
Andrew Swallow, two goals, one. Reported in today's Melbourne papers that his brother was at the Gold Coast as the #1 pick-up there, and a year or two down the track will be a target under the
let's see if we can pinch whoever we can pinch, Rob.
given the fact that they've got 20 or 25 of the best young kids in Australia, and they won't be able to retain them all at some stage. Here is Atley again, sticking it to the top of the square. Petrie couldn't get there, and off hands.
Grover's ability today just to get that extra hand in there, create a spoil, create a turnover. Himself and McFarlane have held up that defence once again with Broughton today.
It's going to be one of their great challenges for the Dockers. A lot of their defenders are seasoned warriors, if I can put it that way.
Thomas snap just for the behind.
So McFarlane, you know, closer to the end than the start, obviously. And Grover also, their oldest player. They're going to have to come up with some seriously significant replacements, because they have been terrific players for the club.
Well, I reckon Silvani's one of them, Joe.
And maybe Robertson could be the other one if he develops a bit more size about himself.
Got a nice blend at the moment, the Fremantle Dockers, of the older age that you just spoke of, the middle age, and certainly the youngs. Sort of perfect opportunity at the moment for them to challenge at the top end. To Bohr, to Ballantyne. Remember, they played a lot of the last half of last year without this man, who's so important for them off the ground up forward. Hill just getting better and better.
Looking for the dummy.
Yeah, Van Berlo wasn't very supportive in the end. Ballantyne arrives, and he'll go for home from the boundary line, looking for goal number 5.
We spoke about Stephen Hill and probably only having 14 or 15 possessions today. He's had the 14, working at 88%. So the quality has been there when he has had the ball in his hands.
29-point victory here for the Fremantle Dockers. Their fans love it. They stand and applaud. That man kicked 4 goals today, and he's struggling a little bit with it now. But a very, very impressive win for the Fremantle Dockers. There's another one struggling, so fatigue has set in here.
Well, they've got plenty of time to recover before they take on the Bulldogs here on Anzac Day. But it's a darn good performance by the Fremantle Dockers. They worked hard. They were challenged a couple of times this afternoon, but they worked their way through and finally broke open the match.
Another 33-minute quarter there. Let's go down to Glenn Jakovich. Has Hayden Ballantyne, who kicked 4 goals.
Thanks very much, Brian. Now, Hayden, I wanted to go interview Matthew Pavlich after the game, but I got overruled upstairs. Brian Taylor says, you've got to go to the Little Pauper. Hayden Ballantyne. I think you got a fan upstairs, mate.
Yeah, manager boys stick together.
9 shots on goal, mate. A little bit off radar.
Yeah, off radar. I've been practicing during the week. Still a bit rusty, but getting better as the weeks go by.
Kangaroos really come at you. They had the bye, so they were going to be fresh. They were going to really go and test you. But it was at that 10-minute mark of the third quarter you really broke them open.
Yeah, we knew they were going to come out hard. We knew we just had to absorb it and give it back as much as we could. And to our boys' credit, we did that.
Big game next week, Monday night, so you've got a longer break. Len Hall tribute match. You play the Bulldogs here. Win that 4-1, and then you've got to buy. Good start to the season.
Well, it is a good start. We want to improve every year. And, you know, we've lost one game so far, which maybe we shouldn't have. But then we won one we shouldn't have as well. So, you know, we're just going to take it 1 week at a time. That old cliche, 1 week at a time, and just see how we go.
Good boy. Enjoy the win, mate. Well done.
There's another one out of Mandurah, Jared.
Got to teach him those cliches, BT.
Hayden Ballantyne